Yeah, I'm having a little, I wouldn't call it an existential crisis, but there's a gym that's a bit closer than the one that I'm actually going to head to today. And that workout would consist of, incline Smith machine, incline bench, and then there's some cables that I like. But there's something about like it's just I think it's just the flat hammer strength chest press at the Metro that I like. I can't stop doing it. It's like my new favorite fucking pressing movement. I still like heavy incline Smith, of course, but that machine press is like just fucking killer. I'm talking solid stretch, really crazy squeeze. I mean, it's just fucking sweet. So that's a bit of the logic into why I go to specific gyms for specific days. Some gyms have shit that other gyms don't. So I think I'm gonna make the extra 10-minute trek over there and get chest started. Now, in an ideal situation, of course, your gym is so fucking badass that it has every conceivable machine from every manufacturer, hitting every muscle from every possible angle. But that's not totally fucking necessary. Like as picky as I am, that's kind of already just because I've got a couple memberships at my disposal. I mean, I've gone summers at a time, or well, not specific to the summer, but my kind of routine after I do street painting is I go straight to the Planet Fitness. So I'm fucked, man. I've had months of just Planet Fitness straight training. I would not necessarily blame the gym, but I am picky enough now where I want to go. I want to go to this specific place because they've got this specific machine. What really sucks is one of the gyms that's closer to me, their leg extension has become unusable. I'm talking it's fucking come apart at the frame to the point where you've seen me kind of jerry rig some cable equipment where like the actual handle that you can hook attachments to on the cable has broke off, and I'm like kind of tied the cable into itself so I can do like push downs and stuff like that. You know, Obviously at my own risk, but there's a point where some machines are beyond actual usability. So it kind of sucks because the lead time that they said until they get a new leg extension is going to be like 4 months minimum. Not awesome, but this gym has fucking 5 leg extensions, so that kind of makes up for it. But plan for chest altogether, same as normal. Not that I think, because of course there is no workout, there is no perfect workout, but my chest days that I like always look pretty similar. There's little nuance changes, but for the most part, as long as I'm strong, everything feels good. This is what my chest days usually look like. I'm talking maybe 3 to 4 really heavy pressing sets in the beginning. That's those are the starting sets pretty much. And after that, I kind of get to use my own discretion. After, I mean, at this point, after about 3 sets of heavy pressing, now that could all be incline bench, or I could do like a set of incline Smith. Say I don't like it, then do an incline dumbbell or whatever. After about 3 or 4 sets of heavy pressing, then I'll typically transition to either flies, maybe 2 or 3 sets of flies, and after those flies, then finish off with maybe 3 or 2 sets of lighter squeezing pressing. And that's a very different kind of approach. Now what I mean by that is like when I think of the different ways you can hit your chest, I'd say you've got heavy pressing, you've got lighter squeezing based pressing, and then you've got your fly based movements. Now, of course, you can do heavy flies or lighter flies, but the basic like feeling of the set is the same. It's like saying a heavy curl is different than a lighter squeezing curl. But the reason I think that there's a difference that's notable enough to even reference on the pressing side of things is when I'm doing heavy incline Smith machine, like if I try to load up 3 plates or like as many as I can do for 10 reps, the rep essentially gets harder, 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 harder. It's the hardest at the bottom. That's when I'm getting the most tension on my fucking chest, right? And as it comes up, especially when I'm pressing with like a straight bar, like a barbell or a Smith machine. I get to use my triceps a bit more too, so my chest actually does less work at the top of the rep, right? So it gets heavier, the load increases at the bottom, and then when I'm closer to the top, the load is lightened, right? So heavy pressing is hard at the bottom. Like a heavy squat, you're not going to fail at the top when you're standing up. You're going to fail at the bottom when you get the most tension going through your quads. So all the tension is in the stretched position. Whereas with something like the hammer strength, like flat chest press machine that I'm going to use later, the tension is such that because the machine's on a pendulum. I don't know. It's kind of tricky to explain, but the weight is lighter at the bottom of the rep. In the stretch position, the amount of force that you're actually feeling through your hands on the machine is less, and it gets progressively heavier as you press because the weight is being pushed further from the point of rotation. If you catch my drift, but basic gist: the further that you push out, the harder it gets, which is the complete opposite of something like a barbell or a Smith machine. So that's where a little bit lighter weight, where I really focus on trying to squeeze and flex as hard as fucking possible at the top of the movement, right? Like this is the hard part, and then this is kind of where I rest for a second. It's just kind of a different, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a very different feeling. But as long as I'm pushing myself as hard as I can, guess what? Every single one of those sets, be it heavy pressing with a barbell or Smith, or the machine press or cable flies and everything, every set where I really push it contributes to my overall chest fatigue for the lift and contributes to my level of pumpedness. And I know it's just being pumped doesn't mean you had a perfect workout. Because I could sit on the pec fly with really light weight and just burn out like 30 rep sets, really light, just squeeze a bit, get fully pumped. I wouldn't have put even that much work into my chest. I would not be even a little bit sore the next day. So just being pumped doesn't mean that your workout is perfect. But if you go hard and you're doing actual like valuable sets, I'm talking like 8 to even like upwards to 25 hard reps. I mean, it's a pretty wide fucking angle. I mean, even reps of like even sets where you're only doing like 6 reps for a heavy set. I try to avoid that though. That's probably a little bit too heavy for my liking. Like for me, the heaviest that I want to go is an 8 rep set. That's and that's just because that number feels about right for me. But if I do a set of 8 reps on the machine press, but then I do like a 30 rep set with partials on the pec deck, I don't care that it's just a crazy rep differential. All I'm concerned with is how hard did I push it, how cool or, well, I guess bad, but bad in a good way, does that feel in my chest, and then how pumped am I? So don't get too attached to any specific kind of approach. Throw some shit around in a reasonable fashion, squeeze hard, get a pump. It's fucking sweet. And the cool part is, at least as far as I'm concerned, is honestly trying to, as long as you're going about it by using hard, heavy, like intense sets, the better that your pump was, I would say the better that your lift was. And the pump doesn't actually only reflect the quality of the lift, it reflects the quality of your entire preparation before the lift as well. Because if I got 0 sleep, if I didn't eat enough food, Cybertruck spotted, another one. I make it's still new. If you watch this video 3 years later when Cybertrucks are normal, you wouldn't get it, but whatever. So I'm getting myself distracted. What am I talking about here? So as long as you're doing hard, heavy, intense sets, that is gonna. Oh, now I'm really backstepping. I just derailed myself. Whoops. But what I'm trying to say there was, if I didn't drink enough water, if I didn't get enough sleep, if I'm not really in the mood, I'm not really excited to train, and then my training session ends up being kind of shit and I don't really push myself, then yeah, I'm gonna have a shit pump. My pump has reflected that I was not properly prepared for this fucking workout. Now, alternate reality, which I try to make my fucking daily reality, get a lot of fucking sleep, drink a lot of fucking water. I mean, I'm walking around with gallon jugs all over the place. Electrolytes, right? Being well fed. Now, if you're dieting, of course, don't go over your calorie limit, but you still need to eat fucking you know, proteins and carbs, fats and everything. Bulking context, the well-fed part is a little bit more basic to hit. You know, just eat a fuck ton of food and be nice and carved up. But as long as everything is in line and everything has been set up and I'm prepared, then I'm gonna have a crazy fucking pump, and it's gonna show. It always does. But enough rambling. Let's just jump straight to that first working set. And I do warm up. It's just usually kind of I mean, I've shown it before. Just some tricep activation, some rotator cuff activation, warm up sets like 1 plate for 10 reps, 2 plates for 3, 3 plates for maybe 4. I mean, 1 for 1 or whatever, just to get warm. But let's cut to that first working set. 3 plates in a 25 is as heavy as I'll be able to manage. And what I mean by that is it's as heavy as I can go for a real set, but not so heavy I think I'm gonna hurt myself. I already did 2 reps as a feeler set. Those were some good reps. Can't do this weight again though. Let's drop it to 3 plates and repeat. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. One more like that. Same weight. And then we can move on to something else. Oh. Okay. That's enough of this. Oh my god. Fuck. Oh. So some heavy pressing's done. Now I get to decide, do I want to do some flies or a few more sets of pressing? Give me a minute to find out. So, contrary to the cable flies I'm going to do in a little bit, which are going to be very controlled, squeezing, no swinging, this is going to be kind of a nasty set. And my logic for it is because it's going to feel good. You know, for me to go pretty heavy, kind of launch the weight around, have a ton of tension on my chest, have a solid squeeze, especially for the first like 7 or 8 reps when I'm strong, and then burning out with partials. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it's like scientifically studied, but I know that my chest is going to be fucking thrashed after a set like this. And that's from my own personal experience. So for me, it seems pretty fucking valid. But if for you, a set like this sucks, well, don't do it. You don't do your own shit. Oh. Whew. I think I might just do the one and move on. Actually, fuck. The cables are taken. I lied. One more. But now this one will be a bit lighter and squeezy. Holy fuck. Okay. Let's go do that chest press. Maybe finish with a set of decline flies. But if 2 sets of that chest press give me the feeling that I'm done, then that'll be what I go with. 3 plates may be too heavy, but that's not a problem. Let's say I only get 5 reps, I'll just drop the plate and turn it into a drop set. But if I get 8, which I'm aiming for an infinite amount, of course. I don't want to limit myself before I even start the set. But if I get, like, cause I said this in the car, 8's kind of my number. So if I get 6, that's just a cue for me to say, let's turn this shit into a drop set. You know? I'm not just gonna suddenly think, oh crap, whoops, didn't do as many reps as I wanted, whoopsie days. It's, no man, take control of your training, you know? So if this is a drop set, so it be. If not, you're gonna go fucking wild. Okay. Okay. I think that's enough. Just the one is fucking fine. Let's go do a set of cable flies. Chest is done. I think. Holy shit. Okay, this will be a drop set. Moderately heavy, bent over cable presses, decline sort of biased. Then I'll drop the weight by like fucking to 1/3 and do slow squeezing. Fucking just burn out flies like that. Perfect finisher. Okay. 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 Chest complete. Let's go post down. All right. So I've got a bit of a fucking bad habit when it comes to chest, and that is that I fucking start using my front delts whenever the pressing gets fucking hard, because I mean, I just kind of naturally have a little bit of a fucking, I wouldn't say like a hunch, but I kind of have a tendency to press with my shoulders up like this, like pushing like that, instead of pulling them back and pressing. On those sets of incline Smith, they felt really good. That was all chest. Like I wasn't feeling like my shoulders activated at all. It was almost like a complete fucking upward flex towards my upper pec, no front delt. But on those sets of, that one set of hammer strength press, which I know it's kind of funny, I said I love it, I only did one set, it was a good set. But on that hammer strength press, that's usually where that kind of tendency to overpower with my front delt comes into play. So I could tell once I'd hit failure with the 3 plates and dropped it to 2, I was starting to work some front delt, which I did not want to. So maybe I should have gotten a little lighter, controlled it a bit better. I am getting better at it. I'm using way more chest than shoulders, especially than I used to. But I mean, I still want to get to a point where it's 100% chest, 0% shoulders. But let's see how we're looking. And this is just like immediately running over to the mirror after that set of flies. So I'm still fucking breathing. But morning weight, 250 on the dot. So it looks like that's about the real starting weight for this bulking phase. So that gives me like 6 fucking months to only gain 30 pounds. It's only 5 pounds a month. Let's just say that's going to be very doable for me. But let's run through a couple. And oh my goodness, I'm feeling fucking wide. Let's get this angle. Oop. There we go. Oh my god. It's fucking hard to hold these poses after a fucking lift. That's for sure. Oh my gosh. Alright, one more most muscular. And we gotta fucking get out of here. This is the one pose where I probably feel the most like the fucking meathead. I've said this before. I mean, a side chest, you know, if you're sitting here doing a side chest, so dignified, the most muscular, that's just an all-out fucking flex off, which is fine by me, but still looking reasonably fibrous. You know, I didn't take the dieting phase too far, so I'm not rocking any Wesley Vissers level fucking chest striations. But that's not the point, right? You gotta fucking, when you're building a skyscraper, scaffolding is gonna cover the outside until it's done. So if you're afraid of losing your abs, or, you know, you just got your fucking first bicep vein and you don't want to start bulking up because you don't want to put on any fat on the outside of you, oh, I mean,
I guess if you've never really had any experience with losing body fat, like if you've never experienced dieting down for real, then it might feel a bit daunting. But it's not that fucking bad, man. You know, get big, get soft, get fucking strong, and then have a period of time, lock your diet in, get lean, show off the muscle you built underneath. It just fucking makes sense to me. But I'm all done, so I'm out of this bitch. Let's get the car.
All right, that was a certified freaky fucking chest day if I've ever seen one. Oh my goodness. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, pretty much what I fucking envisioned beforehand. Heavy pressing. I mean, pretty fucking heavy pressing. Followed by some flies. Heavy, but still flies. Some more pressing and a little bit of extra kind of squeezing cable flies to finish it off. You know, nothing else. And what a good example of kind of what I mean when I say like the actual exercise choices themselves isn't so important. It's because if instead of doing incline Smith machine, I did incline barbell, or if instead of incline barbell, I did incline dumbbell, if I still did 3 really heavy sets of around the same rep range, as long as it's the same kind of basic style of movement, it's going to get the job done. You know, my chest doesn't necessarily know if it's pushing against a machine or a barbell or a dumbbell or whatever. All it knows is I'm fucking sending, contractual signals to it as hard as possible, and it's fighting against some serious weight. You know, it doesn't have eyes, it doesn't have a fucking mind of its own. It doesn't know, oh, this feels like a barbell. No, that feels like a dumbbell. It just knows it's being worked, right? Now, of course, different parts are going to get worked differently depending on your incline angle, things like that, like the strength curve of everything. But in its most basic premise, it doesn't know. So don't be too concerned about, like, oh, if I do barbell, I'm going to get big, but if I do dumbbell, I'm going to stay small. Oh, well, he said do dumbbell. Maybe I got to stop doing barbell. It's not a. If you ever hear someone say, like, you should never do this, or this exercise is killing your gains, it's not that black and white, you know? Nothing about working out is that black and white, except for a few key facts. You know, what I would call the real tenets of weightlifting progress, right? That's calories in, calories out. Number one, if you eat enough, you're going to grow. If you don't eat enough, you're not. Or I guess vice versa. If you eat a little, you're going to shrink and you're going to lose body fat. If you work out, you'll hold on to your muscle. And if you eat too much, you're not going to lose any weight, right? Calories in, calories out. That's a strong one. You can't get around that. Progressive overload, I think that's pretty fucking legit too. A little bit grayer, a little bit more gray than this, but progressive overload's legit. As you lift more and you get bigger, you should get stronger. You're gonna need to lift heavier weights to continue your progress. I think we can wrap our heads around that pretty well. But even then, there's a limit. You know, you're not gonna catch me bench 5 plates. You know, that's beyond the realm of necessity. But as I get stronger over this bulk, I'm probably gonna be doing like 4 plates on the incline, as long as I can, do the reps in a reasonably controlled manner and not hurt myself. Then yeah, I want as much load as my fucking muscles can handle. Massive highlight, double underline on the don't hurt myself part. That's really trying to focus on that. So you got to eat right to get your results. You got to train hard. You got to get your fucking at least. I'm not going to say at least 8 hours. I mean, historically, I definitely have not been getting 8 hours of sleep on average. But I can tell that when I do, that's when my training is the best. If I've got a week of jack shit for sleep, which doesn't really happen as much now, I could put a lot of focus into the routine. But like, back when I was in school, I was a complete fucking schmuck when it came to my REM cycle. So now I'm a bit better about it, and I can tell every time I fucking go to sleep, I get to wake up reasonably fucking well rejuvenated and recovered to the point where I get to train again. If you're the kind of guy who loves to say, dude, you can't train every day of the week, you're not gonna be able to recover from that. I may come at you with a rebuttal and say, how much sleep did you get last night? If you tell me 4 hours or below, Honestly, if you tell me 5 hours or below, then yeah, I'd probably fucking agree with you, right? But if you're getting your fucking 8 hours like you're supposed to, guess what? I think you're gonna be okay, you know? Apart from the natural slowing of your, well, when you're younger, you know, when you're kind of teenage, pubescent kind of guy, you are spending a lot of energy literally building your body, right? That's kind of why kids get away with eating all sorts of junk. Their body is always in a state of growth, you know. So if you're growing, you're going to use those excess calories for actual fucking bodybuilding, right? But the only difference between you, and I'm talking to kind of the older generation now, you versus like you when you were in high school, is guess what? You probably haven't been killing it as much in terms of your activity as of late. I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm just saying in general, like, yeah, no wonder you're going to feel different if you now have gone from like daily exercise on the regular, like when you used to lift fucking hard, do whatever sport you used to do. If you did that for hours a day versus now being relatively sedentary, like a large fucking portion of the U.S. population is, yeah, that's going to have a pretty serious fucking result in a change on your body, you know? So it's going to take a little bit to get back into gear, but the guy who lifts consistently hard, right? Eats his food, gets a good amount of sleep, is well hydrated, takes all his fucking vitamins and his fish oils. That guy can train on a consistent basis. And I don't think anybody should be I personally don't love the bad mouthing of like you can't recover from that. Come on, man. Come on. Try it for yourself at least, right? Try to train as hard as you can. And then if you can't recover from it, then that should be a fucking sign you're training hard. You know, take a rest day. I'm not anti-rest day. I am anti-unnecessary rest day. That's my take there. But heavy pressing, solid flies, nasty pump. Feel well, well oiled up now that I got all my fluids and carbs floating around my system, which I wasn't really, enjoying the benefits of when I was dieting down. So my plan now, my plan now is to just fucking just go home, eat. I'm gonna put a bunch of like fingerling potatoes in the oven. I'm talking olive oil. I'm talking salt. I'm talking a little bit of pepper. That's gonna be fucking sweet. So probably, I mean, I could see over the course of tonight, 200 grams of carbs worth of starches plus some steaks. That is a perfect finisher fucking meal for me. So, plan for tomorrow. I'm not gonna hit back. No, back is I'm gonna hit back every other back day, but on every other non-back day, I'll do a little something special. So I think I'm gonna make tomorrow just calves and forearms. Really just thrash calves and forearms. Because I've kind of said this before, my back is well developed to the point where I want everything else to fucking grow and catch up, you know? Like there's a point to just getting as big as fucking possible, but I want to be in decent proportion, you know? So if my arms are lagging behind my back, then I want to put my back a little bit further on the back burner, literally on the back burner. If I can turn the heat down a little, leave it on a simmer, I'm still training once a week, but instead work on some other kind of, I wouldn't say accessory muscles, but yeah, kind of accessory muscles, you know? So really get a nasty forearm pump and then just wreck calves. Never a bad move. So I'll see if there's a, you're not going to really catch me doing any abs. It's just not necessary for me. I guess I've been explaining this for a little while. With your abs, they definitely need direct ab work. And I'm not talking about like just, doing 100 toe touches where you sit down and you bend back and forth like this. I'm not talking like V-ups and fucking crunches. Like, I mean, those work. I think it's not an awesome stimulus to fatigue ratio for any Renaissance periodization fans watching. But, if I want a big chest, you're not going to catch me do 100 push-ups in a row. Even though that's going to be hard work on my chest, that's not how I want to go about it. I'm going to load my chest up with weight, do sets to failure. So when it comes to your abs, If you don't have a well-defined set of abdominals, why would you want to hit it any differently? There's it's not like your muscle fibers in your abs are like fucking magically different to everything else. They're going to respond to the same basic shit, mechanical tension, load. So one of my maybe I'll do a little bit of abs just for fun, just for kicks to kind of explain it. But one of my favorite ab movements, I'd say it's just a kneeling cable crunch. Put the cable on like shoulder height ish, throw a rope on it, maybe throw like a yoga pad or something on the ground so your knees aren't just fucking getting all chafed up. Then just sit there, fucking hunch over with as much weight as you can do. Like I'm only doing like 15 rep sets. Like I'm doing like pretty much the stack once I'm warm. Really just fucking burn them out. Get an ab pump. Do 6, 7 sets and leave. So, as much as the logic of like abs are built in the kitchen is true, I see a lot of guys where even though they're lean and they're muscular, like they've got big chest, big arms, big back, big shoulders, everything. Even though they're lean, their stomach is very just flat and undefined. And it's because they've got fucking underdeveloped abs. It's still a muscle like anything else. So even though it's most visually fucking apparent when you are leaner, I mean, your chest is huge. Your chest is fucking bulbous. You can see if someone has a big chest, even if they've got substantial amounts of body fat on them. But the body fat kind of rate of concealing your abs, it's quick. Your abs are pretty much the first muscle to go, per se. So, be that the case, be that as it may, if they're not developed in the first place, it doesn't matter how lean you're going to get, you're just not going to fucking see them, man. So, like anything, they need to be developed, but to a degree. So, at this point, I've done fucking, well, even before working out, I've done years of ab training from, like the sports I would do, like doing gymnastics and diving and stuff. A lot of the workouts were very ab focused because it was kind of like acrobatic. Like the whole point of or whenever you do a flip or something, if you want to go from having a straight body to like tucking yourself up into a ball, you kind of need stronger abs. So they really kind of locked down on us with the ab development. But even working out, I would do some weighted crunches and stuff for a while, but they're big enough now. And you know who said this really well was fucking Greg Doucette. Not recently, I don't remember. This is like a long time ago. But your abs don't need much direct work to maintain once you have them. Because every fucking time you do, you look at yourself in the mirror, or like every time I do side chest or side tricep or anything, even some of the flexes in the mirror are literally just flexing my fucking abs. They get a lot of activation just from being a lifter. You're gonna naturally fucking activate your abs pretty frequently throughout the day, and also they get activated in a lot of movements that you do. I usually don't notice this because I don't do a crazy amount of squat volume, or at least I haven't consistently. But I think it was like 2 leg days ago where I did a lot of did like 5 or 4 sets of Smith machine squats. My abs were fucking sore afterwards, to the point where I could really notice. And then every time you do heavy tricep pushdowns, when you bend over on the weight and you're pushing down on the weight, you're using your abs to hold your torso in place. Right? If your abs are completely relaxed and you're trying to do a tricep pushdown, your body would just push itself backwards. Right? So you use your abs to hold yourself in place while you push the weight down. I mean, it's just they get worked a lot. So once they're there, they're not going anywhere, and that's why you're not going to see me do a 30-minute ab workout on the regular. I'll do them every so often, just kind of for fun, just because I kind of like having an ab pump. But yeah, don't be concerned. Once you have a reasonably developed set of abs, they're not going to go anywhere. Now, if you put on some extra body fat, they're still there, but they're just hidden. So that's one point I want to kind of get across. Trying the logic of only trying to diet down to get your abs to show. That's not the only way to go about it, and it shouldn't be the only way you go about it. Now, of course, leaner you are, the more they're going to show. But the bigger that they are, the more they're going to show. So it's kind of do both at once style situation. So you're going to go home, eat, have a good night's rest, dream about the forearm workout that I'm going to do tomorrow. Maybe I'll probably watch some old Lee Priest clips to get myself hyped up for it, and then fucking repeat as usual. So I'm gonna start tracking my weight on the actual on like a Google spreadsheet now that I'm actually kind of reached the real beginning weight. You know, I'm no longer just gaining 2 pounds a day on the refeed. So let's see how quick we get fully bulked up, guys. I'm sleepy. So I'll see you tomorrow.